at Dobbins Air Reserve Base. John?
Well, John, the 116th Fighter Wing left here and went to Nellis Air Force Base near Las Vegas. Nellis is home of the fighter pilot, home base of the Thunderbirds. It is the Air Force's equivalent of the Navy's Top Gun. It is all business. Every day is a battle.
Try to go in undetected because of the threat.
Literally. For 1 week at a time, fighter pilots from the Georgia Air National Guard are considered the enemy.
We're trying to deny bombs on target by killing the guys.
The killing is not for real. No one is shot down or shot at with missiles.
Hello, Center. Peach 2 is level 16,000, looking for that turn on course.
What is real is the intense, heart-pounding challenge of air-to-air combat. Georgia F-15 pilots versus Air Force F-16 pilots who are trying to make it through weapons school at Nellis Air Force Base.
It's real intense for the academics and the flying. So they're putting everything on the line. Basically their careers out here as individuals trying to go through the course. A lot of pressure.
Major Dave Fink should know he is a graduate of weapons school, now a member of the Georgia Guard.
What are we trying to do?
For this dogfight, he is teamed up with other pilots from the 116th Fighter Wing at Dobbins. Colonel Bill Bader, Major Dan Delane, and Captain Walter Kurtz.
We're trying to maintain air supremacy to deny an attack during our vol time.
The F-16s were coming in from the east. Their goal was to get past us and drop their ordnance, live ordnance, on that command and control bunker that was located right there.
At the same time, the F-16 students are holding their own private briefing before the dogfight. So once in the air, nobody knows exactly what the other side is going to do.
Traffic 12 o'clock, 15 miles opposite direction, and the flight of F-15 to 16,000.
They fly to a top-secret range in the Nevada mountains. It is so secure, the Air Force will not allow any pictures. For longer missions, a tanker will go along so there can be in-flight refueling. That way, the fighters don't have to keep returning to the base.
Sierra 2-1, I got a target at your 104 for approximately 29K.
On the ground, the entire engagement is monitored and recorded, so there is no doubt who fired when, who was hit, and who did what. The dogfights last about a half hour. They can involve 4, 8, even 40 airplanes. One Georgia fighter pilot compares it to driving on I-75 the wrong way. Only these drivers are going 600 miles an hour, not 60. And when it's over,
Split up north, they came back hot and tried to bracket us.
the pilots replay virtually every maneuver.
On that first one, when we were going north, and I came back in, I found the leader. I shot him. But when I broke, where were you when I broke for the trailer?
When you broke for the trailer, I was right behind the ridge line and popped the trailer before he shot you. We killed 3 out of the 4. The other one had to turn and drop his bomb, so we were successful in defeating them. We lost 1 at 15, yes.
Punishment so bad. Look, did you redeem yourself, dog? We killed him.
2 days later, though, it was a different story. Major Dan Delane came bouncing out of his F-15 a survivor.
We humiliated them so bad, they probably won't even come to the debrief. Those guys are worthless and weak. Now drop and give me 20.
It's the best flying you can find, I think, short of a combat scenario. And it's a great way to come out and end up with the Union.
Now, the 116th did this about 4 years ago. They were selected again because of their abilities. You heard the pilot mention this is a great way to end up with the unit. What he is driving at is that the mission will be changing. We'll get into that a little bit later in the week. But first, coming up tomorrow, the 116th suits me up and takes me for a ride of my lifetime in an F-15. Loops, rolls, 6G turns. I'll show you what it's like. For now, we're live at Dobbins Air Reserve Base. John Alston, Channel 2 Action News.
Getting a little queasy just hearing you describe it, John. I can't imagine how you must have
Should have been where I was.
Thanks a lot. Tonight in our special assignment, we take you inside a fighter jet when someone is trying to shoot you down. The Air Force invited pilots from Metro Atlanta to take part in war games over the mountains of Nevada. Channel 2's John Alston went along and experienced the ride of a lifetime. He joins us now live from Dobbins Reserve Base to show us what it was like. John?
John, it is the most exhilarating, the most physical, the most exhausting flight I've ever taken. You hear pilots talk about pulling G's. For example, 6 G's, you experience 6 times the force of gravity. Your throat goes all the way into your seat. Well, I was able to get put through the ringer in one of these F-15s, but it is still nothing like what pilots go through in a dogfight. Before you get the ride of a lifetime, you have to look the part.
Squeezing you anywhere? Okay.
No. But the real purpose behind all of this gear has nothing to do with looks.
And when you're pulling G's flying, this is going to inflate to restrict the blood flow so you won't pass out, black out, or whatever.
Okay. Which is good.
Now,
Master Sergeant Sam King and Technical Sergeant Arthur Cox spend nearly an hour suiting me up.
That is good, okay.
It's real tight on you here, but you're going to be seated in the airplane.
The way this mask works, to keep it from leaking, we adjust it to your face.
The guy flying the F-15 would be Captain Woody Pate.
But we'll come in here, and there's Death Valley right there, and plenty of mountains.
The briefing includes everything from sightseeing to the deadly serious subject of ejection.
You pull the handles from the back seat, you're going, okay, by yourself. If I pull the handles from the front seat, we both go.
Motion sickness bag, and all it is just a little bag with a tie.
Okay.
What we'll do, stick a couple of these in your G-suit pocket. You're not going to
couple.
You're not going to need them.
I'm not going to need them.
Just in case. Better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, it ain't no big deal. Like I said, I'm ready to go. Celebrity.
It's a good ride. It's a good ride.
Have fun out there.
Yes, thanks. Lucky number 7. What?
You're gonna make him sick.
That's what I heard. I heard he's got a stomach of steel.
Our case says he does.
I figured out why you got the name Woody.
You did? That would be me. Oh, come on, baby, accelerate.
Cessna 481, turn right heading 120.
Come on, baby, accelerate.
Try to do something, thanks for the help.
Oh, God, I love doing that. Look over your shoulder. Look over your shoulder if you can. How fast are you going? We are doing 0.9 Mach. We're doing 450 knots. Going across the ground at about 570 miles an hour. Okay, right now we are going to pull a turn with about 3 Gs. Ready? Okay. Coming right. Let her rip. And I am going to try to hang on to the camera. And it feels like the... That's 3 Gs right there. Feels like the skin is coming off my legs. The camera weighs about 500 pounds. Keep straining. All right, coming right. Start tensing. That's 5. And that's 6. Oh. So you can imagine what 9 would be like. I'm not gonna try and go to 9 or anything. At what point do you black out? Well, that's why you gotta keep tense and keep breathing and all that stuff, you know. Tense up a little bit. And if you look out your side window, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see that we are upside down. Life is good. And you wonder why we like doing this stuff? Let me put the skin back on my legs. Oh. All right, tense up for me there, John boy. Okay. Here we go. Boy, you weren't kidding, were you? You gotta look good over the base, buddy. That's all there is to it. You gotta look good when you come back home.
A little wobbly, but the bag is empty. Whew. That was great.
Cool.
Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet, man. You bet.
Woo.
Good times had by all.
We'll get to do this again.
Better than Six Flags.
Not, yeah, not like Chopper 2.
That's a little different.
Chopper 2, you know, Woody was nice to me all the way along, but that last break, he gave me very little warning, I have to point out. Coming up tomorrow on Channel 2 Action News, the thrill of flying these F-15s could be ending for the unit here at Dobbins. It is part of the military's changing priorities. We'll have that tomorrow on my special assignment War Games. We're live at Dobbins right now. I'm John Alston, Channel 2 Action News.
Thrilling ride, John.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking us along.
The Georgia Air National Guard has flown F-15 fighters for 6 years. It is the passion of more than 1,000 pilots and ground crew members. But the day may be coming when the F-15s are no longer Dobbins. And that's the subject of tonight's special assignment War Games. Channel 2's John Alston is live at Dobbins by one of the big planes.
Well, Monica, it is just a plan at this point, but as you said, the F-15s at Dobbins could be going the way of some of these older jets. As the military downsizes, it is shifting more responsibility to state guard units, and that could bring about some big changes. When we went with the Georgia Air National Guard to Nevada, we could sense the people were getting ready for some big adjustments.
Cougar 3, Charlie 2, got one coming up on me. I've got the north guide, low.
It is the type of flying that fighter pilots dream about.
Fox 2, left 16, left turn.
Mountainous terrain, wide open spaces, not exactly like training over Georgia.
Kill, Cougar 1's nose, left turn.
To be able to deploy out here and fly with literally over 100 airplanes and interact with them.
Cougar 3, disregard the kill.
Try to deconflict routes and plans and targeting so that we don't shoot each other.
LMO kill, Cougar 1's nose.
When we have literally hundreds of airplanes to contend with.
It's called Weapons School at Nellis Air Force Base near Las Vegas. Pilots from the Georgia Air National Guard were invited here to fly against top Air Force pilots trying to complete the course. The guys from the Air Force do this full-time. The pilots from Georgia do not. Major Dave Fink goes by the call sign Rat here, but his main job is flying overseas for Delta. Major Dan Delane is known as Dog when he steps into his F-15, but most of the time he's flying for Federal Express.
A two-group presentation all day long.
And Captain Walter Kurtz, call sign Giga, is a pilot for UPS.
I guess probably the biggest difference is 727 doesn't have a trigger.
To make this mission at Nellis work, they were joined by 100 other men and women from Dobbins, the maintenance team and ground crew.
It's pretty important. Your main goal here is just to keep your pilot, keep the plane in good shape, make sure he's ready to go.
Taking part in weapons school training out here in Nevada is a rare experience for the Georgia Air National Guard, and it is somewhat of a milestone. This is the last major deployment for this F-15 fighter group. The 116th Fighter Wing is planning to convert to the B-1 bomber and move to Robins Air Force Base in Middle Georgia. That would mean pilots, ground crew, the entire unit would no longer be working with F-15 fighter jets.
Well, that's real sad, because I'd like to continue. You know, I've been doing it for a number of years now. For me, it's great to come back out here to Nellis. For me, it's kind of like a home field type of thing to come out and play.
I've been wanting to be a fighter pilot ever since I was 5 years old. So flying fighters is kind of my passion, but that's not my decision whether we go to the B-1 or the F-15. And when we go to the B-1, we'll do as good of a job as we do in the F-15.
There is a similar sentiment among the ground crew.
I'd rather keep the sports car, to be honest with you. That's a lot better. I enjoy working on it.
I hate to see them lose this airplane, but if it happens, I'd like to go with the unit. I don't know if I'm going to get picked yet or not.
The growing pains go all the way to the top. Colonel Bruce McLean is the wing commander.
I'm probably 3 years from retirement, so I'm excited about it, and it's a new challenge, but I've been flying fighters my entire life, so I'm hoping they can teach an old dog some new tricks. While it's been a kind of an attitude adjustment to go from fighters to bombers, we're through that, and we're going to be as good a bomber unit there is, active or guard.
Now, the commander says everyone with the unit who wants to convert to B-1 bombers and wants to go to Warner Robins will be allowed to go. However, pilots who want to stay flying fighters and F-15s will have to find other units that have fighter jets. There are to be public hearings, environmental impact statements to determine whether or not the B-1 goes to Warner Robins. If all goes as planned, that will happen sometime early next year. We're live at Dobbins. John Alston, Channel 2 Action News.
But it's not a done deal yet. Thank you very much, John.